Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Folio, Michael Bullock, and Dee Dee Woodson. Guys, we are just going to dive right on in. We got a very loaded show, of course, Smackdown, Rampage, and we're going to start it off with Smackdown Live from Erie, Pennsylvania, from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, I should say, at the Mohegan Sun Arena. And we started it off with the Queen, Charlotte Flair, going one-on-one with Shotzi Blackheart, the winner of the bout, in 11 minutes and 55 seconds was Charlotte Flair. And you know what? For all of the negativity, for all of the stuff that's been happening with Charlotte, especially as it pertains to, what happened about a week ago on as it pertains to what happened about a week ago on SmackDown, especially when it relates to the transition of the belts, and there was a lot of negativity being thrown at her direction. Many people blame that it was her being insubordinate more than anything else. But when it comes to the first match back, she gets a win and picks up right where she left off. So interesting how the booking's going. Yes, there's some backstage heat with Charlotte, but she continues to shine on camera. So interesting to see how that plays out. And this was a good match. This was a solid opener for SmackDown Live. So yes, solid opener. I could get this easily 3 stars. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
3.25 to 3.5 stars here, MF. I mean, the second episode of the new era of SmackDown has brought with it a heel turn for Shotzi Blackheart that capped off a breakthrough performance. Her ring work was strong as she hung in with the top star in women's wrestling. Her promo before that was one of her best to date, and the intensity displayed during the heel turn, in which she completely woman-handled Sasha Banks, was excellent. Shotzi was given a prime opportunity to make herself a star, and she did, having the fans completely behind her during the match with Charlotte Flair, only to turn her back on those supporters and Sasha Banks herself. This was a segment where a new star shined, and more importantly, something actually happened rather than happening for the sake of happening. Kudos to the creative team for this entire thing, which suddenly injected life into the Blue Brand's women's division and proved it doesn't necessarily have to revolve around Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair all the time. So, wow, that's all there is to say on that. So, this worked. Everything about this was fantastic. So, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. One of the fights of the night. You could certainly make an argument for fight of the night, although there is one that might have something to say about it, but we'll get into that later. But for right now, Michael Bullock, I mean, what else is there to say except holy heel turn Shotzi? Where did that come from?
I don't think anybody expected it. I certainly didn't expect it. 3.25, 3.5 stars. I do agree, and who knows? Maybe this heel turn for Shotzi could do her well, but we'll have to wait and see. But as far as Charlotte Flair goes, I mean, I'm just gonna make a quick point here, guys. In the ring, she's a good wrestler, no doubt about it. But outside the ring, especially after what happened last week, I hate to say it, guys, and I don't know how you're going to feel about it. She's just a horrible human being. I mean, and I think even in that promo at the beginning, when Sasha Banks, I think she speaks for everyone, where she said that Charlotte is holding down the women's division. I mean, I dare anybody to beg to differ with me or even Sasha Banks, because Charlotte Flair, I mean, she doesn't care about giving people opportunities. All she cares about is herself. And everything that happened with last week proves that point. Nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. In the defense of Shotzi, Sasha Banks did kind of have it coming. I mean, she did technically interfere by getting up on the ring, um, and it was enough that it was a big enough distraction to cause Shotzi to actually lose. So yeah, it's warranted to possibly have a heel turn from that. No, I didn't expect it, but hey, it made for good TV. It made and yeah, it's going to make a very good star out of Shotzi. So not much more I'm going to add. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right. With that said, we just move right on along. Right after that, the next thing that we had was Drew McIntyre versus Mustafa Ali. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 2 minutes. We'll just blow right by through that. Then we had, well, it wouldn't be a SmackDown event on Halloween if it wasn't a trick or treat street fight. Yes, it was a trick or treat street fight. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. And Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin wins the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
2.5 to 3 stars for this. Try as hard as they did. This was, not overly spectacular. I mean, it was messy, ugly, and did nothing to help anyone involved. Why? Because the win came at the hands of Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, who are very clearly a tag team, but opted to target a singles champion and his guitarist. Sure, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs have competed as a tag team, but they are not a regular team. Why introduce the new team in a segment involving them? What is there to gain? Do we really believe Garza and Carrillo are going to be allowed to beat Nakamura and Boogs? The booking in that regard made little sense, even less when you consider Nakamura and Corbin appear headed toward an IC title feud. But nonetheless, I mean, it was an okay match. I mean, it was your typical Halloween campy comedy, bull funky nonsense. NMF, the 24/7 nonsense invaded SmackDown. Ha ha ha. How you like that? How you like them apples? They should have been bobbing for apples. That's what they should have been doing. Oh, wait. They did that during this match. But I'm just glad that this was on SmackDown and this was not on Raw. I mean, I'm glad Halloween was close enough where they could do it on Friday instead of Monday. We already know Monday's show is going to be a banger. We already know it. So we should know we're going to be there. So that's really all there is to say on that. So I'll give this about 2.5 to 3 stars. I mean, it's not for me, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to say it's not for them either. But wouldn't be Halloween without it. Typical holiday silliness. I'm never a fan of it. So that's all there is to say on it. So, Michael Bullock, your typical holiday silliness and nonsense here, funny haha nonsense here. Not for me. Sorry.
Which totally doesn't belong on the show.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Yeah, I get it's Halloween, but come on. I mean, we're going to have this kind of silliness, this kind of nonsense on this show. I'm sorry. I mean, I wanted to see wrestling, and we get this? No. I'm sorry. I'm only going to give this 2.5. I'm sorry. I mean, I have to be a little more harsher here. I mean, I know people are probably going to come after me for this, but who cares? I mean, this is like your typical funny, ha-ha silliness. Around this time, but yeah, it didn't have to be on here. It shouldn't even be on either Raw or SmackDown, no matter what. So I really got nothing more to say. I don't know if Dee Dee Woodson is back, but I think I'm just going to give it to MF here. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, Dee Dee's taking a break for the moment. She says she'll be right back. So we'll catch her up in a minute if we need to. So next up, right after that, we had was Shayna Baszler versus Naomi. Shayna Baszler wins the match in a minute and 15, which is fine, no problem. We'll just move, just keep it moving. Nothing to look there. And then we get to the main event of the evening, which is a renewal of one of the greatest rivalries in WWE, and now it's back on SmackDown. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, and King Xavier Woods versus Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, non-title match. The New Day wins the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Yeah, this to me was definitely the fight of the night, hands down. I mean, because we know of the history with these two great tag teams here. I mean, we've seen it in the past, and it was another good one. I'll give this about three and a quarter. I'll give this 3.25 to 3.5. I mean, what else would you expect when you got these two? And Fletch, I mean, would you say because they beat the champs, championship committee moment?
Yup, I was just about to say that, and yes, it is indeed championship committee. There's really nothing more to add here.
Yeah, I'm with you there, brother.
I mean, 3.25 to 3.5. I'll definitely call it a fight of the night, and it is what can you say? It's the New Day and the Usos. How many times have we seen these two teams go at it and seen an unbelievable match from these two teams? This is one of the home runs that SmackDown got during the draft, is that it reestablished the tag team division in more ways than one. Because now you got literally one of the you got the greatest rivalry in WWE right now. You know what? And I'm gonna say it. You gotta say it's the greatest rivalry in WWE right now because of the fact of how good the two teams have been. So yeah, without a doubt. At the end of the day, there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony Florio, it's yours.
3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. A very good, action-packed, high-energy main event between two teams who know each other extremely well. There was nothing new here, nor did there have to be. The teams can go out there on short notice, deliver, and set up a higher stakes match down the line. They did just that. Definitely a championship committee moment. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We will definitely see a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between these two teams at the earliest possible date. I don't know when that is, though. That's the only question because, you know, it could definitely change the complexion of the Survivor Series. I mean, I know they didn't really do much to set it up or anything, but they're, as of right now, because you know the formula. It's good. There's going to be 4 champion versus champion matches. You know, the world champions, the secondary champions, the women's champions, the tag team champions. Of course, 2 traditional Survivor Series elimination matches, one for the men, one for the women, and then maybe a battle royale, an inter-brand battle royale. That's probably how they're going to do the best of 7, because I'm sure that's how it's going to go once again when we get to the Barclays. I believe it's 3 weeks from Sunday. So right now, as it stands, it would be the Usos versus RK Bro. And that would be an amazing match. I mean, I would love to see Orton and Riddle against the Usos. But then again, if the New Day were to get in there, it would mean Kofi and Orton one more time. And we know their history. Oh, do we know their history? But we'll have to wait and see on that. But there's definitely going to be a tag title match down the road. And who knows? That could have Survivor Series ramifications on that one as far as who the SmackDown Tag Team Champions to represent Team Blue. against Raw. So we'll find that out soon enough. But 3.5, 3 3/4 fight of the night. Nothing new. These two never have a bad match, and it was obviously not their best match, obviously, but because they've had so many other ones that were better. SummerSlam kickoff 2017, obviously. I mean, they gave us the greatest kickoff show match to this day, and the Sin City Street fight, Hell in a Cell, that's all there is to say on that. So, and if they meet one more time with the titles on the line, you already know it's going to be a banger. So 3.5, 3 3/4. MF, I can see Didi Woodson has made her way back in, so we gotta catch up our first lady here.
Yeah, Didi, we didn't really talk much. We did talk about a couple of matches, but because some other matches were maybe throwaway. So the only matches we really need to talk about right now is what happened there? Alright, I apologize. Okay, here we go, Didi, I got you now. We talked about the Halloween street fight, Matt Cat Punk, and Happy Corbin.
All right, Doc is bringing in the crunch so you can get on your feet, buddy. The audience has Cody fatigued. The wrestlers have this bad habit of thinking the world revolves around them. It doesn't.
I think my computer's acting stupid.
I know, I can hear you, Didi. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got interested.
Okay.
You heard me a few minutes ago.
All I wanted to do was
Alright,
win the title and get you away from my daddy in the garden. Man, goals change. Time flies.
Alright, so the match we were
I've
talking
had
about
so
was,
much fun.
Happy
Being
Corbin,
part of
Matt
this
Cat
storyline
Punk,
was right on the
and Rick
margins
Booth.
of what isn't
Corbin
real.
and Moss wins in 10-20.
We set this table.
That was about a 3.5 star.
Maybe some new people can eat. I thank you guys.
Alright.
You made my life incredibly
The
special.
match we were talking about was the
Wrestling finished me
Xavier
at
Woods
crossroads, but now I am at an actual crossroads with my life and my profession.
Oh, the Halloween match, though. I didn't have a rating for that one because it was too stupid. So that match was the one that was pretty.
The end is near for Cody, but fear is ever developing.
Great job.
Didi?
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't really hear you because of the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
the TV needs to go off anyway. Okay. All right. The Halloween match, like I said, I didn't have much comment in it, and I really didn't have a rating on it because it's just a Halloween match. It was just for promotional purposes, I guess, of
Okay.
the holiday. The other match was a 3.5 star match.
All right, very well. And with that said, now we move on to the overall review. And I believe, Didi, Didi, go ahead. You lead off on the overall review for SmackDown.
Let's see. I'd probably give it at least 5.5 to 6. I mean, it was all right. You had a couple of really quality matches. You had some storyline stuff that went on in there. But for the most part, it was your same stuff that we've had all along, just like with Raw. Not much changed. We still have the feud with Sonya Deville and Naomi. You still have the stupid stuff that goes on with the 24/7, and then Halloween gimmick match. I mean, it just was not the best thing in the world. I mean, the Kofi and Woods segment, that was pretty good. I kind of like that one, but yeah, Drew Mustafa was too short. So really, for me, the best quality matches was Charlotte and Shotzi, and then the main event. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with that, Didi. I'm gonna go with at least maybe 6 out of 10. There was a little bit of some short matches and everything else. Even though the promo segments were really good tonight, Heyman put a great promo out. New Day did a great job as well. So yeah, no doubt about it. It was definitely an interesting thing to say the very least. Not the best show at all, but for it to be a holiday on FS1, it was passable because remember, this was not on regular Fox. Right now, the World Series is being played at this hour. The Atlanta Braves are currently holding on to a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 8th. The Braves have a one-hitter going. They had a no-hit. Oh.
Good. I got some good news for you, MF. Your boy Darno just went yard. 2-0.
Uh-oh! Fly ball! Center field! Back track! Wall! Goodbye! Home run! Travis Darno! 2-0 Braves!
And that just made the show right there.
Yes. Well, all right. There you go. Darno with his second home run of the World Series. So there you go on that. And I was just gonna say, really nothing more to add there. Michael Bullock, it's yours. Well, actually, Anthony, it's yours. 6 out of 10 for me. What says you on SmackDown?
A question, MF.
Sure.
Where was the tribal chief, and why wasn't he on the show?
Maybe they decided tonight they wanted to give him a day off. Sometimes, and plus, if you think about it, it's not Fox, it's FS1. Maybe
Very
they
true.
just felt like tonight was probably a good night not to use Roman Reigns. You still got Drew. You still got some big names. You still got Charlotte. You had Shotzi. You had Sasha. And they draw pretty significant. So,
Very
I mean,
true.
you don't necessarily need the biggest ace. You don't need the ace in the hole, but it's always good to have them. But,
I asked that question because it's a question WWE will have to answer eventually because his absence is the type that we all notice. We all definitely notice. But that's why I had to get that out. But and Travis Darno with that home run, 437. It was 437 feet, and FTX is going to make a $100,000 donation to a charity of his choice. So, and it's the player with the longest moonblast of the postseason, and will choose the charity for the total donation. So that's awesome. So 437 feet. Wow, that was a moonshot. But getting back to this, I do agree. This was a 6 out of 10. I could have done without that ridiculous Halloween street fight thing, especially the talent involved. I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't for me. I'm going to change my rating to that on 2 for that to be a 2-star match, and could have done without it. But it is what it is. Those kind of matches are tough to rate anyway. But we had a great match as expected, with the New Day and the Usos. And another great match that came out of nowhere. I mean, I really did not think. I thought Charlotte and Shotzi was going to be an average, okay match at best. I did not think they were going to give us what they gave us tonight. I mean, but then again, Charlotte Flair, love her or hate her, and we know Bullock clearly hates her. But hey, I mean, she backs it up in the ring, and she took someone like a Shotzi, who's not the best worker, but she definitely gave. She guided Shotzi through what was. She took Shotzi to what was, without a doubt, her very best match in her entire wrestling career. Not just WWE, but also if that includes what I saw of her in NXT and also her stint in Impact Wrestling as well. So leave it to the Queen to get a more than serviceable and passable match out of someone like Shotzi, and then the heel turn. I mean, that was very well done. Shotzi and Sasha are definitely on the collision course. Maybe next week in Evansville, Indiana. I don't know. We'll see. But the fight of the night was the main event. The women's match was right there. The Naomi situation. I mean, Sonya Deville made herself the referee of that match. Obviously, going with this abuse of another one of these abuse of power storylines here, and hashtag Naomi deserves better. That's going to keep circulating. So, and I agree. The Xavier and Kofi segment was good, like Dee Dee said. I agree with that. But anyways, 6 out of 10 for me. So not much more to say. Upward and onward to Evansville, Indiana next week. So, and I think this, and maybe starting Monday night, maybe we can start the road to the Survivor Series because we got nothing for that yet. Don't keep screwing around here, guys. I mean, we got to start building this thing. You got a few weeks to do so. So hopefully, when we get to Providence Monday night, when we get to the Dunk on Monday night, hopefully we'll start building that sucker. About damn time we do so. Should have started already, but whatevs. So 6 out of 10 for me. Bullock, take this overall review home, and then we'll get ready for what ended up being a surprisingly great Rampage tonight.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, yeah, you had some good matches, but others were there. But yeah, so there's really nothing more to say to it. So let's get on to Rampage.
All right, and we start off Rampage with the first fight of the night. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. Bryan Danielson wins the match in 16 minutes and 24 seconds. What a start to the show. Amazing fight. 4 to 4.25 stars for me. There's really nothing more to add. This was amazing. This had everything that it needed it to be. It was awesome. Anthony, it's yours.
And lost in all this, MF, Bryan Danielson advances to Full Gear. He's going to Full Gear for what will be already the biggest match of his young AEW career, when he will square off against either Jon Moxley or Orange Cassidy in the finals of this World Title Eliminator Tournament. So he is one win away from getting an opportunity, a future shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, which will either be Kenny Omega or who we think it's going to be, Hangman Adam Page. But, we'll have to wait and see what happens. The big money match, obviously, is him and Moxley. I mean, that would be wow. So, but anyways, this was the fight of the night. I 100% agree. 4 to 4.25 stars. Ever since he came to AEW, Bryan Danielson has been a machine. Every match he has had feels different and as competitive as possible. With Eddie Kingston as an opponent, this was one of his most brutal fights yet. Did you see his chest, ladies and gentlemen? Did you see his chest? For goodness sakes. While this wasn't quite a 5-star clinic with 1,000 different submissions and takedowns, it was one of the most entertaining matches of the week because it really felt like they wanted to beat each other senseless. Anytime a pro wrestling match feels like a real fight, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. The level of intensity from both men was off the charts. This would have stolen the show on any card, and the standing ovation they received is a result of their hard work. 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night, even though the other two matches were just as good, but this was definitely the fight of the night, no doubt. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, the American Dragon, formerly the Yes Man, now on to Full Gear. Orange Cassidy, I mean, that would be a solid match. That would be a decent match. But if it's him and Moxley, oh boy, you know that's gonna be insane.
Yeah, that's good. That's going to be insane. Yeah, I agree with the rating. I mean, 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night here. I mean, what a match to kick it off. I mean, these two definitely gave it their all here, and no one with the chance to be the next contender for the AEW World Title. I mean, that's putting it on the line. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, they're both winners with the match they gave us. So Brian Danielson moves on, so there's nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Didi, do you want to talk about the match quick, or do you want to just it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll give it probably about 4.25, 4.5. It was definitely the best match of the night for AEW.
All right. With that said, the next match on the fight card that we do have, it was Dante Martin. He went up against Matt Sydal. Dante Martin wins the match in 11 minutes. And Anthony Florio, I give it to you.
3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Sometimes putting two high flyers in the ring is the only way to follow a slugfest like we saw in our first bout. Dante Martin and Matt Sydal managed to follow Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson with a fantastic match of their own that was completely different in every way. The fact that Lio Rush did not have to cheat for Dante Martin to win was a little surprising and a good indicator that they might not end up being a heel act, as some have speculated. Matt Sydal is now a veteran, but he still moves like he is in his prime. This was probably the best of their three encounters because it did the best job showcasing both of their skills. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. Michael Bullock, what else is there to say? The former Evan Bourne putting over this young stud in Dante Martin, who I believe has a very, very bright future ahead of him at only 20 years old, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, the future is bright for this young kid here. I mean Dante Martin, has really made a name for himself so far during his time in AEW. So yeah, and without Lio Rush having to cheat here, this definitely made it really good. So 3.25 stars. Didi Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with the rating. It was definitely a very good match. It was definitely a classic match that they've had. And yeah, they did. Losing my train of thought. I just lost my train of thought, so let's just move on.
All right, that's okay, Didi. That's okay. Sometimes that does happen. I know Florio's lost it. I've lost my train of thought a couple of times in the day, so no doubt about it. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. Look, I'm gonna openly admit this. It was a good high flying match and everything else, but I had somebody on the inside who actually was there in Boston for the show. And the intel that I got was that it was nothing but a spot fest. And that as much as it was productive wise, it didn't look good at the arena. So they definitely made it look a lot more better than it did on TV. So at the end of the day, it was still a great 3-star match and everything else. So there's really nothing more to add here. We go to the main event of the evening. Dr. Britt Baker goes up against Abaddon. Dr. Britt Baker wins the match in 11 minutes and 18 seconds. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Well, first off, Fletch, you should be happy. The Atlanta Braves are taking game number 3 of this World Series 2-0 and have taken a 2-1 lead in the series. So, Atlanta Braves fans, rejoice. You have a 2-1 lead in the series. So, yeah, so there's getting back to this. This was a really good match here between these two. Britt Baker really lived up to she really took it to Abaddon, who is definitely no pushover here. I mean, especially with some of the things she pulled tonight. So I'll give this about maybe 3.25 stars, maybe 3.5. But yeah, I mean, Britt Baker definitely showed her toughness here, so there's really nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. Me, I'm a Supernatural fan, so looking at the zombie gimmick that Abaddon has, it brings back, that show to me a lot. It was really a great match for being the main event. But of course, like I said, the first match was still the best. And even though Brett ended up winning, I mean, it was still as far for a Halloween match, it was definitely better than what WWE had offered us for a Halloween match. The girls, they took it to that limit, and um, you know, they brought in several things to play. The one thing though that the only thing that bothered me though was the fact that the table didn't break when they went through it. So other than that, I mean, Abaddon looked good tonight, and Britt Baker, I think, had a lot to do with helping her opponent look good. So, not going to complain. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Definitely a good win and a solid victory for Dr. Britt Baker, no doubt about it. Could it have been a lot more better? Yes, I definitely agree with that. I know it definitely did not win over the crowd in Boston, though. They really weren't feeling it. As a matter of fact, here's something you guys won't believe. Half of the arena left before this match even happened.
Really?
Really? So everybody talks about, WWE is having problems with attendance and everything else. Not a lot of people stuck around for AEW Rampage, y'all. It literally when the show after the Daniel Bryan match, almost half the arena bailed out and left the arena. That's how bad it got. So, of course, nobody's talking about it because, you can't say nothing bad about AEW. Well, guess what? There is negative stuff. And yes, AEW Dynamite was great. Rampage might have looked good on paper, and at least on TV it looked great. Not according to the live crowd and not from the live fans in Boston. They bailed out halfway through Rampage. So that's a insider note I want to give you guys more than anything else. So, and on top of that, it's not fake news. So anybody who starts to say, it's fake news, it's fake. No, my source is very reliable. So my sources are very reliable. And I'll feed into the guys, and I'll tell you who my source was because a friend of his went to the show, so that's why I can say first class. I got top notch source on this one. But as far as the Britt Baker match goes, it was solid. It was good. 3 for the main event. Floyo, it's yours.
Yeah. 3 to 3.25 for this. The pre-match interview with Mark Henry might be the best thing from this entire. Might have been, one of the best things of this entire show. He asked Abaddon a question. She growled at the camera, and he no-sold it with the funniest deadpan expression ever. But anyways, the fact that both table spots failed to break the table actually made both bumps look more painful than they would have if they went as planned. But that's probably because they were more painful. Thankfully, both women did not appear to suffer any injuries and kept going like nothing happened. The match started a little slow and had a few hiccups, but they ended up making it a lot of fun by the end. Abaddon is an odd character that AEW doesn't seem to know how to use yet, but it's clear the crowd loves her. This won't be the last we see of her in the title picture. So I could give this 3 to 3.25 stars. By default, it was the worst fight of the night, but it was not remotely bad or anything like that. Only started slow, that's all. So 3 to 3.25 stars. So I believe it goes back to you, MF.
Yes, it does, and it goes all the way into our overall review. Look, AEW definitely was better. Rampage was definitely great. 8 out of 10, solid performance. Again, based off the intel that I got from from a person at the arena, not as great, but sometimes the live experience to the TV experience could be different depending on who you feel. I know a lot of the times when we watch a thing live, we see little things that maybe you don't necessarily see on TV that could make the show better or sometimes worse. Depends. At the end of the day, I thought this was an 8 out of 10. So, Florio, it's yours.
I gotta say, this was, one of the best Rampage shows we've had in quite some time. I mean, probably since maybe the first couple of shows. The debut show. You remember that night when Christian Cage knocked off Kenny Omega for the Impact title? And, of course, the following week when CM Punk made his epic debut in Chicago. I mean, this was a very strong episode of Rampage. Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston was definitely the match of the night and possibly the best of the entire week. The only one that comes close to that would probably be that ladder match we saw Monday Night on Raw that Seth Rollins won. But nonetheless, though, I'm right there with you. Solid 8 out of 10 for me. So best Rampage I've seen in quite some time. I mean, they've been good shows, but the Rampage shows solid, not overly spectacular at times, but I could probably say it was the best one that I've seen probably since the first couple of weeks. So that's really all there is to say on that. So 8 out of 10 for me. Michael Bullock, what a great show tonight.
Yeah, it was a good show. I'll definitely give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, yeah, the match that really was good was obviously Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. I mean, Matt Sydal and Dante Martin was a good match. I mean, you could also say the same for Britt Baker and Abaddon. I mean, even though it was the worst fight of the night, it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. So, nothing else to say. Fletch, let's put a bow on it.
Didi, it's your... Oh, Didi?
Oh, yeah, did Didi go?
No.
Uh-oh.
Bullock, you're in trouble, bro.
I think.
Bullock,
hold on. I smell it.
Actually, if you really wanted to go back to who would be in trouble, it'd be Fletch, because you let off on the last segment, and then he let off on this one.
Well,
but you're the host, so
yeah. That's all right. I mean, it honest mistake, honest errors, but it is all yours, Didi. So
he's a little excited tonight. I think you know why.
Yes, I understand. I know that he's a giant Braves fan, so yeah, I understand quite a bit. But yeah, I'll agree. It was an 8 out of 10. All three matches very solid. Very good matches. Definitely the first one being the fight of the night. So yeah, I don't have too much more to add. So guess I'm going to head off. So I don't know, since you guys are going to Raw, are we doing it?
This is here. You could just stick around just for a couple of seconds. I'll give you all the details of what's going on right now. So we're done for tonight. Of course, NFL Saturday is tomorrow. That's hosted by Anthony Florio. We're going to do everything on the NFL. Now, as you know, myself, Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, we're going to Monday Night Raw on Monday. Ridiculously Raw will now be held this Tuesday night. So Tuesday night at, I want to say 10:30, we will do Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony. And then from there, it's the usual schedule. Now, if there is changes, we will let you know. But I do believe everything should be according to plan, Anthony, as far as AEW on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. So then Wednesday Night Mayhem on Wednesday, Thursday, College Football Thursday, Cerebral Smack Talk on Friday, NFL Saturday on Saturday, and we'll be good to go. So Tuesday is going to be the only difference. So instead of doing Monday night, it'll be Tuesday night, 10:30 on Tone 25, Anthony Floyo's channel. We're done. Thank you so much. Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Tony. We'll see you guys on Tuesday, tomorrow night for NFL Saturday, right here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For all of us here, you guys know the routine. Have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Chop on, Braves fans. 2 games to go. We're halfway home. Good night, folks.